that. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Explaining the Unexplainable. And I am your host, Mercedes Lucke Benedict. And we do not have my sidekick, my other host, Bishop Exorcist Bishop Joshua Dr. Sparks. He's got such a long name, it's hard to actually get all the name in there correctly. He's not here tonight, but guess who is here tonight? We have an amazing guy. I call him like the actual real Rocky guy. He has come through the fire. He is like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and it's just amazing. I think what he's doing, his life in general, from an actor, he's all these shows and movies, and he'll talk about all that. But also the WCW, which I think I have that right. He's also got a brand new podcast, which I have right here, the title, and I was actually on it. So it's really cool, the WCW Retro Podcast. And it's a really great podcast. So I think everybody should watch it. Be sure to check it out sometime. And with that said, I'm going to just say hello, Rob Kellum. How are you?
Hello, Mercedes. Great to be here. Hope you're doing well.
I am. I'm so glad to have you here with us. And I really have to apologize for Bishop Joshua, because he just cannot get on here tonight, and he sends his apologies. So we want to have you come back on again sometime when he is here, because he just would love talking to you. So we do send our apologies.
Oh, it's quite all right. Please give him my best. And thank you for having me, really.
You're so welcome, and thank you for having me on your show the other day and calling me and asking me.
Oh, my pleasure.
It was really great, and it was nice to be able to share about what's happening in my life. And I don't really do a lot of podcasts lately, so except my own. So, or the ones I'm working.
I don't blame you.
That keeps you busy just doing all that. So yeah. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about? Well, where did you begin with wrestling, or with all of that, and just talk about your life?
Oh, well,
Back in time.
Long ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
4 scores and oh gosh. Well, as far as the wrestling has been like a long passion of mine since I was younger, and from really early age. And I was just like any other fan, grew up admiring a lot of the greats in the business, and then to the point where I was involved with a lot of things growing up, athletics, theater. What have you? I was even in the naturally gifted class at one point because I scored high on an IQ test. So,
wow.
But my intelligence was more with the arts and creativity, more or less, than some of the students. They were more into the science and mathematics, which I was decent at. But my thing was always been creativity with the arts and all that, which brought me to theater. So going back to the wrestling bit, after high school, I even put in my high school yearbook that I was going to be a professional wrestler, and all my alumni got a kick out of it. They didn't think I was serious, and then even my theater teacher didn't know I was serious. And when I actually broke into pro wrestling, my theater teacher could have wrung my neck because she wanted me to pursue the arts because I was doing plays and so forth. I was in different plays like Cats plays with Broadway, Shakespearean plays. I was Moses in the Ten Commandments. I was even the Dodo Bird in Alice in Wonderland. You name it. I was in all types of theatrical performances, and then I got trained to be a pro wrestler after wrestling collegiately and with the USA Freestyle Greco-Roman circuit, where they toured the country and uh, wrestled different teams around the country as well as overseas teams like the West Germans, etc. And I almost had an opportunity at one time to wrestle for the Olympics, being a part of the Olympic team, in which the qualifying match that I had went in overtime, and I hit my knee on the gym floor and tore ligament my leg at the time. I couldn't finish the match, and the guy got a quick reversal. And, I lost by 1 point on that deal. So I was so close, but no cigar, right? So,
Wow.
but I had a great run, and with that, and I was able to help train some kids at the time in the amateur wrestling, collegiate wrestling circuit before I broke into pro wrestling. And I was trained in pro wrestling by three of the greats, legends in our business: Ivan Koloff, Nelson Royal, and Gene Anderson, in which they really put me through it, and they really taught me a lot. And it just kind of escalated from there, and they really prepared me for a light ahead, and that wild circus ride known as pro wrestling, in which I got to travel the world, go to different promotions, be on the main stage, be on the big screen, if you will. And it brought me to all these different places around the world, brought me to television and film, and eventually, which I got into acting through that, in which my theater teacher forgave me later on in life because she saw how theatrical I was with the wrestling, and then pretty much segueing into the acting realm and film realm. She understood how everything just transitioned into each other and all that. So she forgave me for that. And it's funny, all the different things in life that I've transitioned into, and from one stage to another, it really is solidified in my head how connected the universe is, how life is. So it's all connected, and we're all intertwined, if you will.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like a, a something is only a machine is only good as some of its parts, right?
Right.
And you can't have a fully functional machine where you have one spoke off the wheel, if you will. And so, I mean, everything ties in, everything's connected, and I really, God doesn't create things by accident. There's always a purpose for everything. So, I mean, that's kind of been my perspective, through the years, and the one constant, through the good and bad I've been through, is that God has a purpose, and everything ties in. Everything's connected.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing all that. And I actually learned a little bit more about you than I had known about. So I was thinking you had gotten into acting later, like with while you were the wrestler, and but now it makes more sense that you took that theatric into the match with you created your character, and you created the maestro. Now I call it maestro. Do you call am I saying that correctly?
Maestro, yes.
Yeah, maestro. So and now that I think about that, I'm just like that makes sense. Why did you name yourself the maestro?
Well, actually,
Or did someone name you?
it was a collective effort. And before I was known as the Maestro, I was known as Gorgeous George III after my granduncle, who was the original years ago. In which, funny thing is, I didn't find out the later on in life of my relation with the original Gorgeous George, in which my grandfather's smartened me up, right? Because I was getting compared to my ring style, my mannerisms, to the original Gorgeous George years ago, and I didn't understand the connection with that. And then my grandfather told me one day, it's like he, Gorgeous George was indeed my granduncle, and they were like boxing buddies back in the day before he broke into business. So it was a real live opener for me, right? So it's funny how life, like I said, how life is reminds you how everything's connected, and that inspired me to be Gorgeous George III for a number of years. And then once I got the opportunity to sign a contract to WCW, that's when they got wind of my theatrical background from the past and all that. And they, we all came together creatively with the name Maestro, and that's pretty much how that was born. Where I would come out of the rafters, playing the baby grand piano with the candelabra and everything, and it was such a elaborate platform they had me playing the piano on, and which I had to work with a stuntman for a few weeks prior to my debut, where I could propel myself off a harness in case something would happen to the contraption and it would fall. I can propel myself up, right? And I'm not too much on heights, right? So it took me a good bit to trust the harness, if you will, and to learn how to use it. So um, I finally was taught that through the stuntman that was teaching me that, and then made my debut, which was amazing. And I remember when I made my debut and playing the piano as the contraption was rolling down from the top of the arena. Uh, it was like I try not. I was as I was playing the piano. I try not to look down at the people because they look like ants, and 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 the crowd noise would drown out the sound. So I really had to kick in the bass on the piano when I was playing it, right. But and the piece that I was playing was I collaborated with another friend of mine in the wrestling industry, Jimmy Hart, who was known as Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart. He was a famous manager from the '80s. Uh,
Okay.
he, we both wrestled in Memphis wrestling with Jerry the King Lawler, and of course with WWE with him and Hulk Hogan, and WCW where we met up there, and we collaborated. And he gave me this sheet music to play, and for my entrance. So yeah, that was really cool. So, but yeah, I mean,
Wow.
playing piano with all that crowd noise uh, was a moment. It was such a moment. But I mean, to have the opportunity to do that in front of a worldwide stage, for real. I mean, we were on like TNT, TBS, seeing the different parts of the world. It was a great, and during that time, it was with as they alluded to, the Monday Night Wars, where WWE and WCW were competing against each other, right? Uh, and and WCW at that time, I was there, was like at one time was the biggest wrestling company in the whole world, and they literally had wrestlers from all over the world. Like this was like the best of the best, and so it was a real exciting time, and I was really honored and humbled to be a part of it, and that's a time I always cherish for that. So
And
that's pretty much how the Maestro was born, and which my envisionment of the Maestro didn't transpire until later on in my WCW run, where I envisioned the story of Maestro to be more like a family opera type, if you will, where he would have a split personality, right? And
okay.
whenever Maestro would hear bad music, he would just snap and just go insane, if you will. And it's the
Okay.
story about the family opera, if you will. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good
but
idea.
it made for an entertaining element to the
Yeah.
Maestro character, right? So it was really cool to demonstrate that on television. So
Well, that's amazing. And then how long did you end up doing that? Because I know you got into acting too. So What when you changed? Did you do both at the same time, or
Off and
did you?
on.
Yeah,
Yeah, off and on. Once I pretty much um, my contractors up and with the bigger companies and all that, I know I pursued the acting more as well as wrestling. I was like back and forth at the time, and it was great because thing about doing film, it's you learn that the little things mean a lot, like doing scenes, right?
yeah,
How to make a scene stand out, if you will. And just like in wrestling, when you're preparing for a wrestling match, or uh, from the production part of it to the in ring work to everything, setting up the ring, everything about it is very integral points to make it stand out, to make that much better. I mean, that's what it's like filming different scenes, and it's amazing. Like when you're filming, you always learn something new,
yeah,
and it's always fascinating to note that it's always something like you just pick up different Easter eggs, different pieces that you didn't notice before. You know what I mean? And the people behind the scenes involved with the filming, they work so hard, and it's amazing how everybody like comes together to make a beautifully intricate scene. I mean, it's really a sight to behold once the editing and all that's put together. And to this day, it just fascinates me with doing film.
yeah. And so, did you ever direct or do any of that too, along with acting?
Well, actually, well, I've helped out directors. I was a director's assistant at one point, a producer, a stunt choreographer, and I was sound. I worked sound. I was a sound guy. It's different things with sound as well. So and camera guy at one point too. So I learned to work different parts of the film world, if you will, and as well as the acting. And so,
Uh,
but it's always something new as far as the angles go and everything. So,
I think I'm not sure if your sound is messing up. Could be mine. So I'm hoping that everyone could hear that. Could you repeat that again for me, just in case? Because it sounds really neat. You had a lot of different, where you did sound, you did directing, you did
oh yeah,
stunt
yeah.
coordination. Could you just go through it just in case? I don't want anybody to miss that.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I've done sound. I was a sound guy. I was choreographer, stunt choreographer, director assistant, producer assistant, producer, camera guy. I've I've worked different facets of the film world, if you will, and each time I learned something really new and really cool. I mean, it's amazing how everybody works together to make a scene happen. I mean, and it's I don't think it's appreciated enough how hard everybody works behind the scenes to make
Yeah.
a great film.
Yeah. It's a lot of work. And I understand that because I did acting a long time. So I acted. And I did like you, the theater, and that makes more sense. So it makes a lot of. I love theater. I love being in theater. I always missed it, like when it's over, like when after you spend all that time with the people and you're together, and then you do the shows, and then it's over, the last show. It's so hard to get through because you miss those people, each project. I remember that. So,
It
so
really is.
yeah, I mean, it's like you become a little band of people, together. So talk a little bit about what you're doing now, like your podcast, and you talk about this amazing podcast you've got.
Well, it's a weekly podcast on vocnation.com. It's called WCW Retro. And it started out as a wrestling nostalgia podcast. but I wanted to make it more of a variety show, if you will. Have a
Yeah.
plethora of different guests from the music world to the acting world to the wrestling world. I mean, because honestly, going back to what I said earlier, I mean, everything I feel is connected and tied in. And a lot of what we do, different things that we do, is connected in some form of way. I mean, we're all like, if you think about it, storytellers, and we're all telling stories. Whether it be the wrestling, whether it be the acting, whether it be music. I mean, everything's a story. I mean, even our lives are stories, and to share their stories with others, and have them listen to the stories of others, and them vicariously living through the stories that are being told. I mean, you never know who's going to be inspired by that. You never know who's going to be uplifted by the stories and say, hey, this person, look what they went through. If they can do what they're doing now, coming out of whatever situation they're in, or this and that, whatnot. I mean, there's a chance that I could make something out of myself, no matter what passion you have in life. So, I mean, if if I could help inspire others by someone's story to help uplift them, I mean, I feel like I'm doing my job, as a podcast host, to inspire and help people. I mean, that's the main goal, and in order to shed light on others, and it all starts with you and the person in the mirror you're looking at. So, I mean, I want to have the listener have that experience to listen to other people's stories, and uh, have them talk about the highs, the lows, uh, the primal and organic reactions they've had to certain situations in their life,
Yeah.
to where when the others are listening in, they can point it out and say, "Hey, I understand that. Identify with that because I'm going through something similar in my life." And so, but if I can inspire others, that's the goal.
Was that always your goal? Even when you were doing the wrestling, were you the same in a goal frame of mind at that time? I know I wasn't. I thought I was inspiring others, like with my acting or my singing before. Like it was like I'm inspiring. I don't know if it was. I think it was more. I don't know what. I think it was after my fall. After the things that happened that could have killed me, and then I had to come back up again. I think that's when I really started thinking about others and trying to help others. Before I wasn't. Was that you too, or were you always trying to inspire others?
Well, deep down, that was the plan all along. But just like in life, you get sidetracked along the way. Things happen. Um, I mentioned the highs and lows. You go on this roller coaster ride in life, and where you stumble and fall at times. But I mean, it's like the old line of why do we fall, so we can learn to pick ourselves back up. And
Yeah.
so it took me a while to get the groove of things, but through the good Lord's help, I was able to put the pieces of the puzzle, if you will, together, and make it happen. So it sometimes everybody's different. Their time frame, it takes time for some comes easy, but it's something that you have to. Everybody has their own personal relationship with God, right? So it's like it's always good to go at your own pace, because God knows what pace that you're on, and he'll work with you on that to make it happen. So it all depends on your journey and your relationship with God, how things go forward.
What would you say to somebody that doesn't have a relationship with God?
Well, speaking from someone that knows what it's like to lose everything, being abandoned, being written off, if you will, being off the grid, off the face of the earth, more or less, and being close to death several times. Um, just when everybody left me, when family betrayed me, when um, my friends just shunned me, when the whole world felt like it turned against me at one point. And this is all true, all gospel truth. Jesus was the only thing that stayed with me. Jesus did not let me die. He said no to death for me several times. But Jesus is the one constant that stayed with me when everything else just left me. And so what I would tell them is like, if you want something and someone that will you can trust and put your faith in and be loyal to you to the very end, it's the good Lord. The good Lord will not leave you or forsake you. It says that several times in the Bible. No matter how bleak it looks, that the Lord will always be there for you, and he'll help get you out of any situation you can, because he helped me so much, because I had some things happen to me beyond my control where literally I lost everything, and I thought it was over several times, but Jesus said no, and I'm living proof of that Jesus will always be with you and will never leave you, and he's the one constant that you can always can count on.
Thank you for sharing that. I know that you went through a very dark time. You went through a dark path. I think that's about when I met you. You were just about to hit rock bottom on and so I'm so thankful that you're where you are right now, and so thankful you made it out. And just because we make it out, and I made it out, but there's always a battle. And the show is called Explaining the Unexplainable, but we have Bishop Joshua Sparks. We also work with the Exorcists, Order of Exorcists. The podcast on Saturday is the Unseen Realm podcast with Archbishop Ronald Fallin Wright. So all of my podcasts stem from the things that I am part of, and the things that I am part of are part of that journey where I did crumble and fall, or where the forces were um, trying to end my life more than once. And like you, I also went into the deep and dark places. Those accidents I had that where I couldn't walk, and I lost everything. I lost my family. I lost everything more than once. And so when I get up in the morning, I remember that. It's always there with me, but I don't live there anymore because Jesus saved me. And I literally have seen Jesus. Like, Jesus was like right here with me. And I showed what I made a little video because I drew it. Like, I mean, it was like right there. And I see spirits. I do. I see, and I have the new show called The Seers. But the fact is like once that happens, you always still have a battle. I've been to a battle today with a loved one, and I wish with all my heart that he was watching this show tonight, that he could see you. I wish that he could, and I hope someday, if God can make a miracle with that he could, like, maybe even talk to you. because you are an inspiration. And we have not even covered what's happened to you. And hopefully, you will write a book one day. I mean, I know I never thought I would write a book, but I have like three books. I'm working on my fourth book. So, I mean, I never
That's
thought,
great.
I know, I never thought I would. And they're different books. Like this one I'm working on is about fascia. So it's about our fascia system and healing. But that's what I do. That's my other work. So I do hope that you do write a book, and I do hope that my loved one might just tune in. Like God feels like pushes him to do such a thing, because there's a lot of
Yep.
people that are in a dark place. There's a lot of people that are lost right now, and they don't even understand and will not even listen to people that have experienced things and come out of it, and have, but maybe I didn't do that either. Maybe I was one of those. I was like that. Were you like that? Were you like somebody that, you could see yourself falling or knew you were falling, maybe hanging, I really don't know, Rob, but maybe hanging with the wrong people, knowing that bad things are happening, but you're still compelled to stay in it until you have to hit the end of the line and reach for God somehow. Is that kind of what happened to you?
Oh, absolutely. God has really opened my eyes in the past few years from all I've been through. And there is a war going on that we don't know about, a spiritual war. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen the demons. I've seen the angels. It's a constant battle that is all around us. Um, and I've seen people actually be possessed by demons,
Yeah.
and people I thought for years loved me, were friends of mine, people I thought were, yeah, I would never thought in a million years would turn on me like they did. And once I seen that possession happen, and it's like they become soulless, narcissistic, and even to the point where they're just cold and their eyes just darken. And the eyes are the windows to the soul, right? And if when a person's eyes just they darken, I mean, something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I really feel that it's true. And it talks about in the Bible about people being demonically possessed, and into this day. And you hear people talking about cloning, I guess, and all these other conspiracies, right? But honestly, it's spiritual warfare. I mean, when it boils down to it, it's spiritual warfare. I mean, they can talk about aliens and what have you, which that's that's all fine and good. I mean, I don't think we're necessarily the only creatures that God created, obviously, but at the same time, a lot of our problem when we get down to the brass tacks is good versus evil, and that's what we're dealing with right now.
Yep.
I've seen good people I thought were good people, be possessed by evil demonic force, and it's so surreal to witness. And and I thought at one time that I was on the right path. I was doing the right thing. I was helping people. I was staying in my lane, doing my own thing, right? But when the devil decides to come after you, he's like a roaring lion, and he'll try to devour you and destroy you, and use things you love against you,
Yeah.
and and possess. And being in the past, being a part of ghosts investigations and blessings with houses, etc.
Yeah. Okay.
I've learned different things about a lot of times that when people are experiencing evil in their household or in their building or etc., it's usually because of a past, or they invite things in that are evil, and so, but and that's why we have to be careful about what we invite into our home and to our circle of friends, especially because there's a lot of evil out there the devil uses to possess people and to open Pandora's box and to just try to drive a wedge into your life and just destroy it. And we have to be really careful who's in our circle. We have to be careful about little things that we invite in, because these things can't hurt us unless they're invited in. And once they're invited in, it'll try to do everything in its power to destroy you. Because the devil fears us because the devil knows that we are God's children. We are made in the image of God, and he can't stand it. I mean, his arrogance just it drives him crazy. The fact that we exist, and so what he does, he uses people because he never does stuff himself. He always uses others to do his dirty work, and he
Mm-hmm.
uses people to degrade you, to put you down, to be
Yeah.
narcissistic, to 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 tell you worthless and no good. I was being told when
Mm-hmm.
I was on my deathbed, going through a coma, then more memory loss. I couldn't walk or talk or anything. I was being told every day that I was worthless and no good, and I was such a horrible human being. And then for a while, I started to believe it. And it wasn't till, thank the Lord and Jesus, that I regained my memory and taught myself how to talk again and all that, and had friends reach out to me and were worried about me, and but they were being shunned by the very people that tried to kill me and ruin me and stole from me. I mean, they even stole my dog. They stole my dog. They stole my the belongings I had. They stole my vehicle. I mean, it was just a horrible situation, and I'll never forget. I'm in the hospital bed, and there were eyes. There were eyes looking at me, wanting me to die. Soulless eyes. Uh, People I thought cared and loved me, and I'll never forget it. But yeah, I mean, it's a real thing. It really is. And in the past, you would, if you told me 10 years ago that all this right was going to happen, I would have never believed it. But the Lord, once the Lord opens your eyes to things, you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it. I mean, it's like He takes out the filter, and you see everything for what it is, and that's a blessing from God.
And how have you done for with the forgiveness part for all of this?
Well, I know when I started to get my senses about me, and um, I've like slowly found out what was really going on. I went through all kinds of emotions where I was upset, I was angry, and so that what happened. But at the same time, I I have prayed to the Lord to handle it. They have to face it. They know what they did wrong, and they're still out there. They're still out there, and I got to thinking, if they didn't do it to me, they would have done it to somebody else. I mean, that's that's their mo. That's how they work, and they're probably working on somebody else right now. But the way I look at it now is, they don't have power over me anymore, because that was why they try to destroy me, because That's how the devil works. He wants, if you give him power, that's when he'll try to destroy you. But if you don't give them power and you rise above it and you let the Lord handle it, then you're releasing that power they have over you. And the way I look at it now, they have to deal with God. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather have the whole world that mad at me than the Lord. So I'll take the Lord any day. But yeah, I mean, I'm just leaving up God's hands because they have to answer to God for what they did because God sees everything, the good and bad and everything. So I mean, He knows, and they
I
got to
think,
deal with Him.
yeah, and I think the reason I asked that is because the person I'm dealing with, there is no forgiveness. It's like, and it, what I've learned is that if I don't forgive what people have done to me, I just carry it. I carry it in me. I carry it everywhere with me, and it
Mm.
makes me sick. And that's where I think with Jesus, people would always say, Mercedes, you need to let Jesus in. I'm like, I didn't even understand that. Even though I was raised a Christian, I never really understood how that would work until I did. Until I did
That
it. Until
that
I just did it. So, and then really, it was with Joe and the house and all this, and it was like, please, Jesus, and then Jesus helped me forgive, and I think that was it. It was like I can't explain it. It's supernatural. It's
it's like
so
it releasing the anchor,
it's
right?
and then I'm like I understand it was like my whole life changed. And because we whatever I think that a lot of that also, when you do that, like you said, it's like the dark side, that's almost like a contract, null and void. They can't get you anymore, because that's the one thing. If you hold on to that anger or hate or hurt that somebody, I mean, yes, we can feel hurt, we can still feel it, but if we keep it in us all the time and we don't let it go or back to God or give it to God and let God handle it, then we are still carrying it like a chain. And I think that was the biggest part of my life, was understanding that. And even today, when I was faced with it again, um, I knew what it was. I knew what it was, and I just knew it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. I love this person, but you know what? I didn't play the game, and that therefore it diffused pretty much
That's
because
right. The
they
Lord
don't.
wants you to take your power back.
Yeah, it's like there is no power because God is with me. God is
Right.
with me. I don't have to go through. I mean, Lord knows I've gone through enough stuff. I mean, I almost died too, right? So all of us have something. You know, I think what you're saying and your life story, all your trials and tribulations, all your victories are, I think they're just as good as Sylvester Stallone and Rocky and all that. It's a different story. I mean, he had his Rocky, he had his story, but you really have a story too. And that's why I wanted to have you on, here too, so you could share that with people. And um,
That that's it. I mean, the Lord makes us realize how important we really are. We are more important than we will ever know. And and so when you take that power away from those negative forces, then they don't have a leg to stand on. They really don't. And they'll freak out and go crazy. I mean, it's like I was contemplating about blocking certain people on
mm,
social media, but at the same time, I want them to see how well I'm doing. I want to see them look at me being happy and existing
yeah,
because it drives them crazy. I know it does because they've tried to take me out for good. and they didn't win. They didn't work. The Lord said no, and I want them to see the blessings. I want them to see me helping other people. I want to see the sunshine. I want to have them see light because they're the ones got to answer the Lord now. They have no power whatsoever, and once you realize what the Lord has in store for you, I mean, it's empowering. It really is. It's so empowering,
Yeah.
and and no matter what negative force or negative words being said around you, it just it's like Teflon. It deflects off of you because
Yeah, that's true.
you know your worth,
Yeah.
and you are
And
somebody.
yeah, I like that's Teflon thing. Um, One other thing is, you know, those people. I mean, I because I see these spirits so much. I mean, they literally can jump in and out of people, and they can kind of embed themselves, or groups of spirits can work through people. So I mean, even these people are not really in control of their own mouths, or anger. I mean, I do believe when I was studying with Bill Bean, or really learning with Bill Bean, and another one, Pete, I can't remember his name, but really great about prayer and fasting. And I can't remember his name for some reason. He's passed on. But he talked about the spirit of hate, the spirit of, even alcohol, the spirit of addiction. And as he talked, I didn't realize that each one of those has a spirit, or it makes so much sense, a deeper version of that. So it's kind of like when you go through drug addiction, or money addiction, or gambling addiction, we are talking about an entity in all the highest forms of that too, is what I believe. So, I think you're right. God will be dealing with all of these issues when the time is right, when it's their time. If you can't get yourself figured out, and you just continue on, like hurting you, like they did, hurting you constantly. Um, but you are definitely somebody that's walked through the fire, and it's a good thing, How and then you have that cute little cat, Glory, who I just think it's just a great mascot. I just love all the little pictures. You always, kind of hold her, the pictures. It's really a great idea.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart, and she's so smart. She's so smart, and she's such personality too. I mean, she's my alarm clock in the morning, and 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 she gets so lovey at night. She's like a real cuddle bunny at night,
Oh,
and
I
very protective too. I mean, she even like growls like a dog when she sees a stranger through the window, and you wouldn't think a growl would come from a little kitty like that, but it's so cute. But yeah. Oh, you would love her. She's amazing.
yeah, I think
She's a
she is.
true blessing.
I know. I see that you're very happy. I mean, and they love you unconditionally. And that's what
Oh
I love
yes.
all my animals. I posted a video today of a past video that, like, I forgot I even took. And in this video, you'll see all of, like, we lost three different dogs this year. So it's very heartbreaking. Three of them. Um, so we used to have seven. So now we're down to four, and three cats and the goats and everybody. But yeah, but each one of them loved me. They really loved, and they love all of us. So
Hmm.
I think what's wonderful is that I just love that side of you too. You know that you're not afraid to show, like, this is my cat, and my cat and I love this cat. I think it's neat that you show that part of your personality.
Oh yeah, she's great. Uh, like you said, they're always happy to see you, and
Yeah.
they're so loving. And I think as a society, we if we can learn to be more like that, we'd be in a much better spot.
I think so too. I don't know if it's possible, but I mean, I think it
Right.
is possible. I hope it's possible. I mean, for the
Hmm.
most part, I'm only around people. I mean, when I see the news and everything, or if I don't really watch the news. But when I see things, I look around and I think, you know what? That's not happening here in my neighborhood or my area. So I know that there's a lot of good people out there still. There's a lot of good people all over this world. There really are. Speaking of the world, what in the world are you going to be up to now? What is your, upcoming months like? Have you got anything special, some new podcasts, any ideas?
Well, the weekly podcast WCW Retro. It's going every Thursday night on VOCNation.com at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got
Is it
some
every
upcoming
night?
guests.
How many nights a week? Once a
Yeah,
week?
every week. Yeah, every Thursday night.
Every Thursday night. Right, right, right.
Yes, and I know this week my guest is going to be a film composer, musician, and artist. His name is Neil Lee Griffin. He'll be joining me. So I mean, very talented musician.
Wow, that's awesome.
So
And
I've collaborated with him in the past, with
oh,
film and everything. Yeah, very talented man.
well, tell us before we go, what are some of the shows that you were in?
Podcast or film
Or
or
any like the film, the
oh,
shows.
okay.
I was that's awesome about your plays and theater. I did a lot of theater, so I love that. So that's
Oh,
really cool.
thank you, thank you. Um, well, I was in Secrets and Lies on ABC, Good Behavior on TNT, Sleepy Hollow series, One Tree Hill. Um, I was I'm in a DC comic fan film called The Devil's Daughter, a Harlequin story, where I played the role of Dr. Arkham, who runs the Arkham Asylum. It's got has all the Batman characters, uh, including Batman himself. um, I I also I'm trying to think. Sacred Hearts, the Christian movie I'm in. Sacred Hearts. I'm in a series called the Dust series, which is kind of like Dark Shadows, if you will, inspired by Dark Shadows. Which I played a role of the chief, who was kind of like the Grim Reaper of the
Mm.
series. It's got different mystical characters like vampires and werewolves and all that. And I pretty much play Death and the chief and that. Um, and I'm uh, what? Oh yeah, those are some of the films. I mean, I have an
That's a
IMDb page
lot.
too.
That's a
Yeah,
lot.
with all my films and TV series and all I've been in. And I was in the gangster movie called Legends of Johnny Small Tie, where I play the mob boss in that. and I,
So
I was even in a Australian zombie movie called Deader Country some years back.
that's a
So yeah,
lot. I'm gonna have to actually didn't look at your IMDb. That's so funny. I'm gonna look at it because that's a
it's
lot.
a lot of variety of roles I've had.
Do you want to get back into that acting sometime?
Yes, yes. I definitely want to in the worst way. I want to get more involved actually with more Christian films
Yeah.
and maybe some westerns. Maybe I'm not sure. Depends on the role, but I'm open pretty much to any role that I feel I contribute with that. But I'm all about sending a positive message through the roles that I portray. So in any way I can contribute to that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Well, I think I think that would be wonderful for you, and I hope that whoever's seeing this now, when they do see it, they'll see you with the go, that guy. We need that guy. That guy.
Because I mean, really, it's not about me or anything about me. It's about the Lord Jesus. He's the reason I'm here, and He has a purpose for me, and I'm going to see it through.
Yeah, and then I think that's what happens once you go through that. Once this happens, then everything you do leads in that direction. It's like God is the one who gets all the roles, or God is the one who finds the song, or God is the one who puts the podcast together. So that's what I find in my life. I just
It
turn it over, and then God leads all these ways for me, and I just follow.
absolutely. And if I can save someone, if I can help someone smile, if I could, make someone happy or inspire them or be a light in their life, I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob, for being here with us, with me, and I hope you
Thank you
come
for
back.
having me.
Yeah, this has been really wonderful conversation, and for everybody here, I think we should do a prayer. So, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Hallelujah. Amen. Because we did
Amen.
talk about a lot of big subjects tonight. I just think that I probably should have prayed before and after, but we did talk a lot about a lot of stuff. So I just want to make sure that's all clear. Thank you for being here with me.
Oh, thank you for having me. God bless you,
God
Mercedes.
bless you. And then this will go out, and everybody, I hope you watch it. If you're not watching it now, you're going to watch it later. Then we really hope you look him up, look up Rob Kellum, um, and find out more about him. And thank you
Yeah.
to our producer, Stan Fikes. We appreciate you. And then next week, we'll have our Bishop Joshua Sparks back with us. And then we'll have you back on again, okay? And then we'll have you be able to come on so you can be with Bishop Joshua too.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Good. All right. All right. Well, good night, Rob.
Good night. God
Maestro.
bless.
Good night. Good night, everybody.